So, Omexom. Woo.
Modern technology.
Round of applause. So, pragmatic data-centric offers for operators. But first, as I said, I will present you very quickly who we are at Omexom. It's very important to understand what we do. Then there will be 2 steps in my presentation. First, I will tell you the story of how we are building our data strategy. And at the end, I will be really pragmatic. I will show you a few projects that we have started at Omexom based on data for our customers. So Omexom. Actually, I'm quite surprised that none of you know what it is, because as you can see, we are quite big. 4 billion euros of turnover last year. And we are a network of 425 business units within the world. So what we usually say is that we are global. We are 400 business units active locally, really close to the local customers. And at the same time, we are present globally in 36 countries. You may not know Omexom, but actually, you know the group we are part of. We are part of Vinci Energies. You know Vinci Energies, right? Yay! So, Vinci Energies is made of 1,800 business units. And those business units are gathered in 4 brands to create synergies between them. So there are 4 brands: Actemium, dedicated to industry; Vinci Facilities, dedicated to services in existing buildings; Axions, which is our ICT brand. So they do part of their activities, things related to data. We will come back later to that. And us, Omexom, we are the brand of Vinci Energies dedicated to electrical infrastructures. And of course, Vinci Energies is part of something even bigger, which is the Vinci Group, that I guess you all know. If you have taken the highways to come here today or yesterday, you maybe have seen it. We do a lot of things. I will not go into too much details here, because I will tell you a bit more what we do at Omexom. So Omexom, what we are a solutions integrator. Let's say a service provider also for grid operators, for power generators, for collectivities locally, and so on. So we have activities in the whole range of the electricity chain. We are active from design to operation. That includes financing, engineering, procurement, building, sometimes maintenance, a lot, and so on. And we are quite old in the field. So I joined Omexom in 2018 to build our data strategy. And the first thing I saw is that actually there was not really data solutions already in production at Omexom. As you can see, we are quite big. So I was a bit surprised. I'm a bit severe. Actually, we had some, but not that many. So I started to wonder, well, why is it like that? I mean, every company in the world seems to do things with data. Is it possible that we don't have interest in working with data? Probably not. So I went to conferences, seminars, workshops to get inspired. And the first thing that I see, now first I checked internally, actually we do work with data. So that's why I'm being a bit severe. We have already activities based with data. We developed fault sensors, so they generate data for the distribution grid operators. We have business units which developed a CMMS for public lighting. It's called CTEP, so again, it generates and gathers a lot of data, operational data. And on the field, we have many activities on the field: maintenance, inspection, construction, and so on. And this also generates a lot of data. But what was maybe lacking at the beginning is that we do not always use all those new tools, data analytics tools, all those cloud platforms to do data in a more efficient way. And that's what I was wondering about. So I went to those conferences and so on, and I tried to imagine what we have to do to take this data journey in an even more efficient way. And the first thing I come up with, what I imagine happens in most companies, is that. So you get the top management, convinced, they know that we have to go for that. So they build a data team with data scientists, they have the top data tools of the moment, and they have some budgets. So we don't always know if it's investment budget or just wasting money, but they have some budget that they can use to experiment things and so on. And of course, their goal is to answer business cases from business units. But I see it in most companies as something very centralized, maybe a bit heavy. So I was wondering, okay, can we apply that at Omexom? And actually, being that centralized, it's not our DNA. Because at Omexom and at Vinci Energies in general, what we like to do is to be very close to our customers locally. So a very decentralized organization. So it doesn't really work to have this kind of big data team, we don't know where it's going and so on. We want to develop offers that are business-driven, that answers very quickly to our customers' needs. That's the way we want to proceed. So very decentralized, and at the same time, we've got one support function which is very centralized, it's IT. IT is very centralized. We all use IT tools, Microsoft, for example, and it's centralized. So now, we have the subject data. Data, it's based on IT. But data, at the same time, it must answer to business cases. So how do we make this link between business cases, which are Omexom at handle at the local level, and the IT part of the question, which is more centralized? So that's where the brand and the network comes into action. That's where Omexom and the team I'm part of comes into action. So we started to build our data strategy, how to be more data-centric. So we imagined a roadmap with several kind of actions. These are the kind of things that you hear in all the conferences. So first, you do a bit of promotion. You explain to people what it is, cloud, and so on. And you do ideation workshops, to have ideas pop out. Once you have the ideas, you experiment them. So if there are some issues about money, business units who do not have the money to invest, we can maybe help them by financing this. Or we can provide some data sandbox, which is a bit more ambitious, so that they have a tool where they can play with their data. And at the end, like the ultimate goal, to have a big data platform where everyone can work with data, you share a lot of data, you do a lot of things. That's really the ultimate goal. That's really the roadmap that we had in mind. So I started to go see the business units in the network and suggest to them, hey, let's do ideation workshops to find ideas. And well, that's the answer. Yeah, good idea. But we don't really have the time right now. We've got the business, yeah, of course, the business first. So we have the business, we are really interested, but yeah, I think we're available in 6 months. What does it mean? It means, well, first, that we have a lot of business, that's a good thing, but also maybe that people are not always totally convinced that data is meant for them and that they have something to do with data. So we take the problem in the other direction. We start with projects. Let's start with the project that we already have, few business units who already have ideas. I will show them later. Let's make them, let's do those projects to show to everyone that yes, we are all concerned by data and we can all build offers based on data. So let's do project, or also known as proof of concepts. To do those projects, it's easier if we already have a tool. If for each project we have to wonder, okay, which tool is best appropriate and so on, we can waste time. So we decided to go for one. We chose Azure. We could have chosen Amazon or Google or SAP or whatever. We chose Azure because it's simple. We work a lot with Microsoft already, also with SAP, but we work a lot with Microsoft. So we made that choice. We will see in the future. Maybe it's not the best one. Maybe it is the best one. We will see. But we needed one. We took one. So we have a strategy. We have the will to go for data projects. We have a platform. Now, what do we do with it? I will show you now 4 projects. We have more than that, but I will show you the 4 most interesting projects that we have around data. It's about IoT, it's about business intelligence, it's about asset management. But here I will come back to my very first sentence. Let's be pragmatic and see how those projects really help our customers, because that's what matters in the end. So, the first one, maintenance data collection. Maintenance is one of our main activities. We have in several countries, I've put only 2 here, but we have maintenance activity in at least 10 countries. We go in substations when our customers ask us to do so, and we do maintenance inspection activities in substations. Usually, or in the past, what used to be done is that we fill paper reports, or maybe digital reports, but we send that to our customers, and the data inside is lost, on our side at least. On the customer side, I don't know, maybe they store it intelligently, but I don't know. What we want to do and what we started to do is to to centralize all this data. So when we have a worker on site making an inspection or a maintenance activity, he or she will report this on an app, smartphone, tablet, laptop, maybe. And all this data will be transferred to our Azure platform in a structured and centralized way. I insist on the structure because feeding a data warehouse with data is easy. But first, building a structure to make it efficient and to make the data usable is very important. As you can see, I've put two flags, France and Spain. As you can imagine, one of the challenges is the language. We will have to centralize data coming in different languages. So we have to manage that. And then once this data is centralized, we can issue the reports for the customers using their own specification, their own format, and so on. This can be made more automatical than it is now. What is really important here is that at the beginning for the customer, it will be the same. They will have the same reports as before. And that's a good thing. We don't want to degrade the way we work for our customers. But in a very short-term future, what we will be able to do for our customers is to help them build a more optimized maintenance plan. We can give them insight or advice on the way they maybe organize their maintenance. How is that possible? Because we have experience from many more countries. A TSO or DSO, they know their own countries. Well, of course, they speak with their colleagues in other countries. But us, as experts in maintenance, we can really rely on our experience worldwide to bring more maintenance services to our customers. That's the goal, to improve the asset management for our customers. So that's one project. Let's go to a subject a bit different, not totally different, but a bit different. It's more IoT, this one. So I told you before, we developed a fault detector for distribution grids. In a few words, the principle, you mount it on the distribution poles. It records the electromagnetic fields of the line and can detect faults happening on the grid. So it tells you, okay, a fault happened, and depending on the kind of type of fault, it can tell you in which direction it is. What is interesting with that is not to have the information locally. And here I refer to the three circles of Christian, if you were at the introduction. It's not only to have instrumentation, it's to have instrumentation and to send it to what you call a digital repository. Yeah. So here, for us, it will be, again, our Azure platform. To do that, we will rely on Sigfox or LoRa. I put only Sigfox logo, but it can be also LoRa network to send information and put it on Azure. And then the third cycle from Christian, the domain intelligence. What is important is not just to have the data, but it's to show this data in a way that is relevant for the customer. So it will be maps, of course, because here we're talking about something that is geographical. So the customer needs to be able, the grid operator, he wants to know where there are faults. And he wants, or it wants, she wants, to send the emergency response team as quickly as possible to the more accurate place possible to find the fault and to restore the grid. So that's one project. Here the challenge will be, of course, real time. That's one challenge, and the fact that those sensors, they are scattered all over the territory. For the moment, it's experimented in France, so it covers the whole area, and it's in rural areas, so you don't go there every month to check if the sensor is working properly. So those are the challenges that we are facing. This one is interesting. We're now in the transmission area. So the slide is very simple, but the project also is simple on the principle. So what we do in France and in Saudi Arabia, we use drones to take pictures of towers, transmission towers. And the idea after that is to analyze automatically, so using computer vision, those images to detect problems. Problems could be corrosion or accessories defects, like broken insulators, missing vibration dampers, these kind of things. So here again, we combine instrumentation, let's say it's the drone. We combine domain intelligence. It's our expert at Omexom who will train the algorithms to detect the defects. This project is using a platform that is developed by our colleagues at Axians. I don't know if you remember when I presented. this is another brand of Vinci Energies, they developed this platform, Helix Nebula, which is at the same time the place where the algorithms will work, or work actually, and some asset management platform when you can have dashboards, you can have a small map, you can have a picture of the towers to see where the corrosion or the defect that are detected. So that's a really nice project, more artificial intelligence and computer vision. And one last one, yeah, I still have time. Awesome. This is for hydropower plants. So what is it about? Here the idea is to collect in a hydropower plant the historical data from the SCADA systems. So let's say you take 1 year of SCADA historical data. Well, first you collect it, you clean it a little bit, you structure it, and so on. That's the usual data cleaning and first step of processing. Then we developed some, again, artificial intelligence algorithms to process this data, which is then analyzed by our experts with the idea, with the objective then to give advice to the customer on how they can improve the way they use their assets, to improve the performance, to improve the maintenance plan, and so on. So here, what we do is use the data that is existing in SCADA systems that the hydropower plant owners do not always use to provide some kind of, let's say, consulting offer to our customers so that they can make more efficient use of their assets, which in the case of hydro means they can create more value, more money from their power plants. So that was a very quick overview of what we are doing with data at Omexom. Again, one key message, what we want to do is to develop offers that really answer to the needs of our customers. And if you want to discuss any of this project, if you want to discuss further this large data subject, you can find us on booth E80. It's next to Siemens. You cannot miss it. And I'll be happy to discuss with you this very interesting issue with data. Thank you very much. And maybe we have time for a few questions right now. Cool. Thank you.
We have time for a few questions. If the audience has any, there's a question. Thank you very much.
I'm honored.
Hi, thanks a lot. I was wondering, so you mentioned most of these are proof of concepts. How does a company like Omexom go from proof of concept in many different projects to scaling it up and making sure that all of your customers have access to it?
That's a very, very good question. So, first thing about scaling up, that's a big challenge. That's why we start since the beginning, or as soon as possible, to work with cloud infrastructure. Based on Azure, it's always easier to scale up than if we have our own servers that we have to scale up, we have to buy new servers and so on. So that's why the cloud can be a very powerful solution for that. Then to answer how we could make those kind of tools or system solutions available to all of our customers, I'm not sure actually that it's the goal. Because what we like to do is more to have specific contacts with our customers. Every customers, they always have their specific needs because the environment is not the same. For example, if I go back to the computer vision topic, I mentioned that we try to detect corrosion and defect on accessories. We will not do all of that in every country. For example, in Saudi Arabia, they do not care about corrosion because their assets are new, because the air is drier, so they don't need that. So we will not try to sell them that. That's an example. So we prefer to think about custom-made projects answering to really specific customer needs. But for sure, being cloud-based will help us with the scaling up and disseminating offers more broadly.
Okay, any further questions?
Maybe another small piece of answer. I don't really believe about the solution that are sometimes and quite often sold by data solution providers about, yeah, I have a solution that works for everything. Yeah, I'm a bit dubious, I have to admit.
Okay, any more questions?